CBS Sports Network to become the television partner of the NJCAA for the men's and women's basketball championship game this year. Here are my top 5 reasons why I think this is a great move for both NJCAA and CBS Sports. My number 1 reason why I like this for both the NJCAA and CBS Sports is because it will show off these kids. These guys weren't the 5-star recruits or the blue chip athletes. They worked so hard for 2 years in these little towns that nobody knows of. And for CBS Sports to show a national spotlight on them, I think is great. The Women's Basketball Championship will take place on March 23rd at noon Eastern Time at the Rip Griffin Center in Lubbock, Texas, followed by the Men's Basketball Championship at 2 p.m. Eastern Time in Hutchinson, Kansas, and Hutchinson Sports Arena. These kids worked so hard for so long to get to this stage, and I think it's great that CBS Sports and the NJCAA are showing the championship. The second reason why I like this agreement between the two is because it makes the NJCAA tweak their bracket a little bit. Most of you don't know the NJCAA bracket is a 24-team single elimination bracket, but once you hit the Final Four, if you lost in your semifinal, you got bumped down into a consolation game for 3rd place. Now, while this 3rd place game was all well and good, it was a little unnecessary in my taste. I was a manager for 3 years, and it was very hard for our teams to get into it, I feel like, because there wasn't hardly anybody in the crowd, and it was just very difficult to, after losing in your national semifinal, to still have to play a game. And with these championship games getting moved into earlier in the day, it really helps that out. The third reason why I like this is because for Last Chance U fans like myself, we finally get to see something that we haven't seen before in a national champion. For those of you who have been living under a rock for the last couple of years, Netflix has come out with a phenomenal series, Last Chance U, where it follows the NJCAA football programs around. And in the first season, you had the East Mississippi Lions, and they had a problem towards the end of the season where there was a brawl and they had to forego a bowl game, and so they weren't able to be a national champion. In the second year, they still followed East Mississippi, and they had a bit of a down year, so they weren't able to make it to the national championship game. And in the third year, they moved from Scuba, Mississippi to Independence, Kansas, and following around Independence Community College. And Independence didn't let down. Coach Brown was one of my favorite characters in Season 3, and I can't wait for Season 4 to drop when it does. But Indy didn't make the national championship game in Season 3, so we finally get to see a national championship because along with the women's and men's basketball championship game, CBS Sports is also filming the 2019 NJCAA Division I football championship game in Pittsburgh, Kansas, at host of Pittsburgh State College. So I'm really looking forward to not only seeing the men's and women's basketball championships, but also the football championship in 2019. The fourth reason why I like this pairing is because in 2018, the NJCAA men's basketball tournament won the Sports Travel Award for the single best sporting event, beating out events like the Big Ten football championship held in Indianapolis and in the Rose Bowl. What, you wanted more? That's it. They won an award that beat out the Big Ten football championship and the Rose Bowl. How much more do you want? It's fantastic. It's going to be great in 2019. And the fifth reason, and I'm sorry my eyes shifted a little bit, but this is coming from the president and CEO of the NJCAA, Christopher Parker, and it's saying having the national television exposure for the student athletes and the NJCAA is an extraordinary benefit, and these championships have a lot to offer to sports fans everywhere. I couldn't say it better myself. I loved my 2 years at Hutchinson, Kansas when the Vincennes Trailblazers went there for their national championships. It was the greatest years of my life, and I wouldn't take anything back. And for it to be finally recognized on national television is something that I always hoped for like I said, for these kids, it all comes back to the kids. And it's really great to see that CBS Sports is finally picking it up and making it a national televised event. Guys, those are my top 5 reasons why I think the CBS Sports and the NJCAA agreement is going to be fantastic for the men's and women's and football championship games. I don't know if I'm going to keep talking about the NJCAA exclusively on this channel, but it's definitely something that is near and dear to my heart, being a manager for the Vincennes basketball team for 3 years as I was. And I think that the news in the basketball realm is wide open for interpretations. I also want to cover a little bit of spring training in the MLB, and once the MLB season starts, covering that as well. But let me know in the comments below what I should continue doing for this channel. Thanks, guys, and see you next time.